I've got my Italian socks on today, so you know where we're going. It was written by a Neapolitan who's living in America for a competition which he won, and if one tune sort of represents in the popular imagination Italy, it still has to be that. Now of course you hear it if you're sitting in a gondola in Venice or in a cafe in Rome, and even if you're sitting in a Fiat, if it came on you would sort of feel, you know, you're in the home of love in Italy. And I always liked Italian cars, as you know, the Lancias and the Alfas and so on. But one car that I did like when I was in Italy, at a house over there, which I rented at airports, if I could, was the little Fiat Panda, because it seemed to have a little bit of soul to it. It was straightforward, and I liked it very much, and I thought of buying one as a second car. And I went to a garage to look at them, and they tried to sell me a little Fiat 500. Well, I took the dog along, and I tried to get the dog in the back, and put the dog in and closed it. It was a bit like a sandwich dog. It was hopeless, and the salesman was absolutely horrified when I tried to do this. And I said, no, the Panda's better. I think I'll come back and think about it. And then I bought one actually for my elder daughter, a Fiat Panda, a proper one, a yellow one. She called it the Yellow Peril. She loved it, had it several years, and she said, why didn't you want the other one? I said, well, I don't know, it was a bit too, you know, I don't know, it's a bit too, it's a bit like an Italian hairdresser's car, it's a bit too gay for me. Dad, you can't say things like that nowadays. You know the feeling, that's what you get all the time nowadays. I went on the internet and I found a garage in the West Country that was selling Fiat Panda's new ones at a discount. So off I toddled, I went down there, and they picked me up at the station, and I went to look at all these magnificent little Fiat Pandas, and just I said, I like that blue one. He said, what, the blue one over there? He said, have you thought of the black one over here, sir? I said, no, what's wrong with that one? He said, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's 100 HP. I said, I don't want HP, I'm paying cash. He says, no sir, what do you mean that's the Fiat Panda 100 HP, it means 100 brake horsepower. And if you drive that, you'll see a difference. In fact, James May's just bought one from us, and he's delighted with it if you ever read his columns. I said, oh, I see. And but it'll be a lot more money, won't it, if it's a sporty thing? He said, well, they're normally £2,000 more. I said, no. He said, but we'll let you have it for 500 more. I said, 500? Why? He said, well, it's a demonstrator, it's 1,000 miles on the clock or so. But you try it, get in it. So I sat in it, I didn't drive it, this is my mistake. And it had a big button saying sports on it. I said, what does that do? He said, well, you press that and it gives it sporty suspension, and it tunes it up. You know, you'll see the difference when you drive it. And I said, well, how about softening? I said, what about £400 more? And he said, no, we can't do it. And then I said, okay, I'm not interested. He said, well, how much? He says, well, I'm going down at £300. He said, done. And I got this car, and I drove it off, and I was about 5 or 10 miles down the road, and pressed the button on the thing. I thought the suspension's a bit stiff, and to switch off the sport, and I realised when I pressed the button it went even stiffer. I was in the sport. God, and I drove. I wondered whether I should turn around and go back to the garage, and then I thought, no, I can't. I've got to go. I'm going to loss of face on this one. You know, Italian. You know, loss of face. And I thought, what's the matter with this car? It's a bit like playing O Sole Mio like this. It doesn't seem to fit. Anyway, I kept it for a week or two, and one evening we had to drive down to, Polly and I drive down to a concert, actually, a very nice one at Rochester Cathedral, about 30 miles from London, and I drove there. Anyway, I was a bit depressed about his ride and everything, and when I got there with the interval, I had an extra glass of wine, and I asked her, I said, could you drive back? She said, oh, all right then. And anyway, so she did, when after the concert, and then she turned to me, she said, Vaughan, I said, yeah, why did you buy this car? I said, well, it's a Fiat Panda, you know, it's a nice car. Oh, it is hard, isn't it? It's I won't want to drive this very long. In fact, it's I said it's a sports version. It's the sports version. It's the, you know, James May bought this one. It's a very good car. And she said, are you sure? She said, and I said, I hate it. I don't know what to do about it. Anyway, we advertised it, and she said, take it back to the garage. I said, no, they'll take, you know, not giving me money. They're trying to get rid of them, obviously. And then I found out why, because they'd been banned in Britain because of their pollution record. They wouldn't allow them to import any more of them. Found that out afterwards. Anyway, I found a sort of a postman, local postman in Islington, who liked sporty cars, and he came round and he bought it on the spot, and off it drove. That's enough of that. Good God, I couldn't wait to see the back of that. And I thought, why can't the Italians now make a sort of car like an Alfa or the Lancia that had excitement, but it was also subtle as well. It had, you know, cutting edge excitement, but it wasn't crude. I don't know. Has the world become more crude? Maybe I've become more soft.